So after it's gotten to this point, I'll lay it down on a cotton sheet. This is just, you know, a bed sheet that must have gotten a rip, and so it's got a nice high thread count. The point being that it doesn't have a lot of texture in and of itself. So I'm going to end up with a nice smooth slab. The nice thing about slab building is there's like no waste. So I take all these little pieces that come off, I dip them in a bit of water, and I pile them up and put them back in the bag, and then I can re-wedge them and use them, unlike throwing where you end up with a lot of waste to reclaim. To pick this up without warping it, I gently pick it up from one corner without pulling on it. You know, I just lift it, and I want to release it from this sheet. Then I can pick it up the whole way, getting my hand under the other side. You don't have to feel rushed. You know, I think that people think when they pick up a slab that if they do it fast, it's gonna be better, and I don't think that fast equals better. So just take your time. It's stuck to my hands to a certain extent, so I can really tip it without having it fall out. Then put the edge down and just use my fingers to sort of curve it around. And there I go. I've overlapped those two beveled edges, and I'm going to show you in a minute a more detailed example of what it is I'm actually doing to compress these two slabs together to create one solid wall. And I'm not slipping and scoring. This is really important. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because especially teachers, you know, they get so fanatical about slipping and scoring. And to good end, you know, if the pot is stiff, if the clay is stiff, I'll totally give it that assistance of slipping and scoring. But the truth is, when your clay is as soft as this is, there's plenty of moisture, and it's just going to stick as long as you compress it well. So this is just to give you a more detailed example of what that joint looks like. It's very important. So I cut it on a bevel, as I said. And this is, imagine this was the covered jar's joint. So you've got these two beveled cuts, and you want to marry them. You don't want them to go flush against each other the way you cut them, because then when you press on it, you're going to end up with a thin spot. And you don't want to overlap them completely, because then you'll end up with a thick spot. This is the Goldilocks. This is the Goldilocks joint cutting. You want them to be just right, which means that the thick part of one is going to go like into the center kind of the other one. You see, so they're overlapped. And then my action isn't to just press straight down. My action is kind of this. I'm pressing the lower part away and the upper part towards me. Just really trying to compress and also spread out the particles so that I wind up with one continuous slab. Once we finish it, we're going to cut it apart so you can see that it's actually pretty close to the same as the rest of the slab. So I would do the same thing to this that I had done to my other pot, my covered jar. And now we can take the knife and cut it across, and you can see that it has a little bit of a thickness, but it's really close to the rest of that wall. And that's what you want.